That's why I love the moon. Every night it's there for you. It's constant. Unlike these human beings who lie about what it seems to be. You think the earth is where you stand. You're in the palm of someone's hand. And that's why I love the moon.
Before we jump in, like you guys heard out there, our workshops will be on hip-hop and the elements and how you can use it in your own poetry. But before we start, we want to get some introductions out. We can start with names, what school you go to, and what brought you here today. Do you want to start, Gloria?
Sure. So my name is Gloria. What brought me here today is this fabulous workshop that I'm doing with Miriam. And I know some of you guys from Destiny Middle School, where I do the creative writing and drama club. So this is kind of interconnected with that because it's all about expressing yourself and hip hop. So yeah, I'm really excited.
And my name is Miriam, and I actually go to school here, and I am here to teach this workshop and just communicate and learn something for you guys. You guys learn something for me. We'll swap off. Yeah. And then River, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm River, born and raised in Tacoma. Took my classes, my compass exam at TCC, but I actually ended up coming here to Georgia to explore some of just the different culture difference down here. So I ended up not going to TCC, but I'm very familiar with the community. So that's pretty much what brought me today, just being passionate about the community and then the art side of things. So anytime there's some poetry going on in Tacoma, like I'm excited to be some kind of hands-on with it. So yeah.
And would you like to start?
My name is Ariana from North Thurston High School in Olympia Lacey area. And so I'm a theater student, all around musical theater, and our dance choreographer, also the first poet laureate of Olympia, teaches poetry at our school, and so she told me that Heaven and friends Bella and Kenzie were doing a group piece, and that she wanted me to join, so that was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So just recently started poetry, but always liked listening to it and the message that it sends out.
So are you in the slam itself?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
All right. My name is Heaven. I'm from North Thurston, and the reason why I'm here is for the poetry slam. And I got into poetry recently because I took a class for creative writing, and it was just a passion of mine ever since I started that class. And once I got into poetry, getting more into it and hearing wonderful people speak at certain places, it brings so much passion. I love writing.
I'm Logan. I go to North Thurston, and what brought me here was I wrote a piece while I was skipping third period, and I had read it to Miss Monarchy, the same teacher as the other two, and she had asked me to come and participate.
So I'm Jasmine, and I go to Destiny Charter, and I'm coming here because I'm in the slam poetry club at my school, and Miss Jordan, I think she didn't have someone else to come here and perform today for the slam poetry, so I said I didn't come because I stutter. So she just said that I didn't have to perform, so I just come here to watch, so that's fine for me.
And I'm Sarah, and I also go to Destiny Charter. And I'm here because of slam, and I'm in the poetry club. And I just wanted to enter poetry because, I wanted to try to find a way to express my feelings and myself, and I found poetry.
My name is Christina, but you can call me Katie. I also go to Destiny, and what brought me here was the slam because it inspired me to express myself in words.
Thank you, Katie.
I'm Kathy. I'm Tacoma's Poet Laureate. Today's my last day being Poet Laureate, so we're putting on a show tonight at 6 and passing the torch to Kelly Richardson, a really good friend of mine, who will be the next Poet Laureate for the city in the next 2 years. And I'm just here to support. I'm like IT in the background, make sure that things are plugged in. If y'all can, just project a little bit as we're talking, because River's going to be trying to listen and engage with you throughout the workshop.
I'm Raphael with Intellect Gang. I'm here to support today. Nice to meet everyone.
And we can go ahead and start into our presentation.
Alright, sweet. So we got the slide up.
Yep. Elements of hip hop and avenues of expression.
Okay, boom. So our presentation for you today could be summarized as so as the title. And when we talk about hip hop, it's usually spoken as a compound word, right? You know, it just sounds like hip hop, like one word. But hip itself has 4 principles. And those 4 principles would be knowledge, education, information, and intelligence. And for the students in the room, feel free to take notes. So when we talk about knowledge and education, information, and intelligence, by show of hands, who is familiar with the differences of those words? Because a lot of times we talk about the similarities, they even get crossed in translation, but by show of hands, if you're feeling confident and comfortable with the differences between knowledge, education, information, and intelligence. All right, no problem with that.
Slowly.
So y'all hear me all right?
Yes.
All right, sweet. So we'll come back to the differences between those, but those are the 4 principles when it comes to hip. Now with hop, it's a movement. We're talking about exercise. I'm not just talking about like exercising your body, but exercising the movement of social justice, exercising vocally or mentally. And when it comes to exercise itself, when you exercise your muscles, for instance, you're ripping and tearing them. The building and the strength of your muscles doesn't come until you're resting. And in your resting period, your body is able to form back and actually get that strength. You're not going to just feel strong when you're ripping and tearing your muscles, So the same thing comes with when we're talking about, expressing ourselves through social justice, vocally, mentally, even with, using our bodies. There's going to be some ripping and some tearing. There's going to be some exercise involved. So hop is actually more intense than it sounds, when we talk about the movement that comes along with hop. And so when we talk about the hip hop movement, you got this knowledge, education, information, intelligence movement. Now, to get back onto the differences between those 4 principles, knowledge is awareness, okay? Just being aware. And education would be training. So being trained on a skill or a career set or a trade. And if I'm going too fast, I'll try to recover back some few things. But when it comes to information, it's just things you know. So facts. Let's say I got this tie from the Goodwill on Pack Ave for $3. A lot of information right there. It's just information, things you know. Now intelligence is the ability to know. You're able to get the information. You're able to know this information. So when we talk about this this scenario of knowledge, the foundation of knowledge is really vocabulary. Okay. So when it comes to the human brain, it doesn't see what it can't name. Now you may notice some things, but if you don't have a word for it, you're most likely not going to see it. It's not going to be a part of you. It's going to be more distant from your reality. There's going to be a separation between you and the reality of whatever's in your space if you can't name it, you don't have the vocabulary for it. Now whatever's not in your everyday language, you'll be objective to. And on average, let's say women, just some facts on Google, you can go and do your own research on this later on, but women speak about 20,000 words within one conversation, 20,000 different words. And men on average speak about 17,000 words. Now, with that said, women have this keen sense of feeling. Well, that comes from being connected, being able to see more, when it comes to their knowledge and their awareness, because they're using more vocabulary. Now, we talk about the emotional side of women, we usually don't connect it with the intellect, the knowledge, or the education, information that women hold. When you're using more words, you're more connected to what's around you. Now, there's just that, as a fact. When it comes to our avenues of expression, we're going to break down just three simple ingredients for the recipe of being, being just, I guess, artistically expressing yourself, because it's just really complex, and so we'll break down three different principles and elements of expression. And so we'll come back to that later on throughout the slide. I think we can move forward. Now, any questions on any of that? I know I spoke a little fast. Are we good?
I think we're good.
All right, we can move forward.
Our projection screen kind of went off, but I think we can still do the next slide, even though, so.
Okay, so we already introduced ourselves. I'm just gonna walk across really quick. We already introduced ourselves pretty much, but I had mentioned Intellect Gang, so I just want to explain that. So we've been a part of Intellect Gang since 2015, and Kathy, the Tacoma's Poet Laureate, is like the one who started it. Basically, it's like a group of artists, whether it's dance, playing an instrument. We have spoken word artists, and we performed at various places, such as the Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. Were you there? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, and also we have done workshops before with youth, such as at Baker Middle School. So this is really just like an extension of our work. And as Kathy mentioned, some of us are performing tonight for the 6 p.m. Poet Laureate ceremony to bring on the new Poet Laureate.
We'll be in the auditorium building too, so if you guys are able to come.
Yeah. And so we want to do an icebreaker with you guys. So it's a 3-word poem. So how's this going to work is that as a group, we're going to select 3 words that we're going to use. And you have to use all 3 words in your poem. And if you want to, we'll have a little bit of time to share out as well. Does anybody have any immediate word that comes to their mind as far as what we could do for the icebreaker?
And it could be anything. It could be like a fruit, something
Yeah,
to eat,
random,
whatever.
Diverse.
Okay.
What do you say? Oh, diverse. Okay.
Diverse is one of the words. Any other ones?
So everyone just write that word on the top of your piece of paper.
Okay.
And be free to have fun with it. You know, don't feel like it's a science question. Just go ahead, whatever's on the top of your mind. Feel free to just come up with whatever.
Okay. I like those.
Beauty. Okay. Diverse and beauty. All right. 3rd word. One more word. Anyone?
Jasmine?
Salad?
Salad.
Okay.
Oh, this is a salad.
Oh, salad. You say salad or talent?
Talent. Okay. Okay, I get it. All right. We'll give you, say, 3 minutes? 3 minutes to write a poem, and it has to have diverse, beauty, and talent in it. And it can be as short or as long as you want.
What is diversity?
Which means different. Different.
Oh, okay.
Or Heaven, how would you describe diverse, since that's the word that you picked?
I would describe like mixed. I would describe it as like different. I would say different ethnicities in like one person. Like me and her, we're both diverse. Different cultures in one. That's how I would describe it.
Yeah, and also be like different backgrounds, or even like you can use that as like a variety.
Or you can also say that it's a diverse group of food.
Right. That's a perfect way to describe it.
So 2 minutes starting now, and I'll say time.
I think you're cute taking all these photos. I'm recording.
Oh, what is this? Oh, heck.
Oh, he was didn't know what I did. I said so cute.
If you're having any trouble, the words don't have to directly connect to each other if you don't want them to be. So they could like be 3 sentences, and each word has its own line. So it could be however. in 2 minutes. Does anybody would anybody like to share their poem?
You cannot understand diverse based on skin. You will not judge my beauty, because I am more than just talent. Why don't you take a seat and ask me?
Wow. She said take a seat. Favorite phrase.
Everybody else?
I said, honor in society is like a foreign thought of sobriety, pressing the talent to mainline a so-called beauty, a world so split that you can't find the diversity.
Nice. One more share out? Paper. It was her paper. Would you like to share yours?
Sure. I am diverse, but diverse is beauty, and beauty is talent. I am voting for my diversity, but I know I am beautiful, and I know I got talent. Don't judge me.
Right.
Yes. Bold energy in the room. I love it.
Yes.
So this is the slide. So yeah, that's the flyer for the event tonight. You guys want to see it?
So next, has anybody here seen the show The Get Down on Netflix? No one watched it. What? Okay, well, The Get Down is pretty much a show. It's back in like the 70s and 80s. That's like the setting of it, and they just talk about different things like what's going on in their cities in the South Bronx, and like they have a lot of elements of hip hop in it. And so we're gonna show a small clip of like it that really showed like what it looked like, hip hop looked like at that time, and like has a lot of the elements in it, just so you can get a see what we're gonna be talking about a little bit. Oops. So let's go. Oh, of course, commercials.
It's like a commercial.
That's too long. I know, it's so sweet. Oh, no.
We had a song playing in the background.
Oh, it's okay. Sorry. I'll get it. Yeah. You'll get off in the 50 minutes. So that's pretty much a lot of the elements that we're talking about were in there. So the MC, so when they were on the mics and they were rapping and singing, that's part of the MC. When they were on the DJs and they were kind of battling each other, we're going to talk about that essence of like battling, what that looked like. And actually DJ was a big part of hip hop, which was really the majority of hip hop at that time. And also, as you saw on the walls, the graffiti, like that's where a lot of the messages and expression looked like back then. And also just the community that was hip hop. Like it was more of like an underground scene, but there was a lot of people there, and it was a way to bring people together.
Kind of like talk about like the war on drugs. And everything.
Yep, we're gonna bring that up too. And 'cause in the very beginning, you saw like how they were passing out like the cocaine and the like record players. So that also like what does drugs had what part of hip hop was that part of? And yeah. And so the next slide. we're going to talk about that, exactly what you're talking about, the drugs and what that looked like in hip hop and why that was an influence in hip hop. Okay, during the time, so it was like 70s, 80s, during that time, it was the South Bronx, there was a lot of people who didn't have jobs, you know, were struggling to get by, and were really impoverished. So like a lot of the major cities were with Black African Americans and Black Latino Americans, and they were in that situation. And so when people don't, you know, are struggling and don't have much to get by with, you know, they turn to those things like selling drugs and, you know, getting by, or even doing drugs because they feel like there is no outlet. But that wasn't on accident. Like it wasn't like, oh, these people are choosing to do that. Those things were in place there. So like you said, the war on drugs in the 80s, that's what crack cocaine was being moved in on purpose, and it was specifically being moved into those communities, of Black communities, Hispanic communities, where those people were. And the war on drugs actually brought more drugs than anything, and so it was all like pretty much in play to set us up for failure, really, and like influence that. And so when people think of hip hop nowadays, they automatically link it to, oh, rappers talk about drugs and promote it, but it's like that, it was in place there. That's what it was. So when people start to do music and express, of course they're going to talk about that and what that looked like in their own neighborhoods. Like they've seeing their friends or their parents like doing those drugs, those were real experiences for them. So in order to say that, oh, you know, because of hip hop we think that these could be Black people and Hispanics, that all they do is do drugs, you know what I mean? So that was up for misinterpretation. But then when the war on drugs did die down after the 80s, then it was turned into another thing. So I don't know if you guys know this, but private prisons during the 90s, when that became a thing, also there was, I'm sorry, my bad, slow down, you ever do that? But there was also the transformation from like hip hop to gangster rap. And so that was also something that was done on purpose, because if you are, you know, playing music about doing gang activities, selling drugs, and that became like a popular thing, and that was an influence, and it was on purpose so that they could fill those private prisons. And the thing about private prisons is that the more people they have, the more money they get. And so they use that. It was kind of like a link between the music industry and also those prisons. So it was just, for them, it was literally just a way to get money, locking up people of color, minorities, in order to make money for themselves. So they purposely changed that, the way hip hop is, to promote those things just in order to fill those beds and stuff. And so that's why there's such, it also brought up more stereotypes of Black people and Hispanics and any minority, honestly. And so that's just why there's such an influence of drugs in music, and why we should also be aware of like what we listen to, because it's there for a reason. They want us listening to that. Like it wouldn't be popular music if they didn't make it, because they do have control over the music that is popular or not popular.
Yeah. I just wanted to piggyback off of that. I mean, this is not something that's not happening anymore. I mean, you know, when we was talking about like the crack cocaine being planted, it was even in the soda, you know. It was an ingredient in the soda, and now it's to the point where like there's law cases with, you know, liquor stores being close to where schools are, you know, public schools, and you know, just to reach a certain population, and as well as it being, you know, this pipeline into prison. I mean, there's still a school to prison pipeline where they have an estimation of, you know, a young colored man who can't read at a certain level by third grade. They assume that they're going to prison. They get their fingerprints. You know, they're preparing for them to come to prison, and they're making profits. You know, they're selling beds and having these gambling off, you know, how many inmates they're going to have in their prison. So it's not something that's not happening anymore. That's all I want to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I want to talk about pretty much I'm sorry.
Oh, she has a question.
So, is it fair to say that the war on drugs was a racist movement set up by the government to get more minorities into prisons?
My opinion, yeah, very good. Would you like to talk about that too?
Yeah, I would say it's almost a no-brainer with that, yes, but there's also perspective on that, because it's not like it's just targeted on race.
Yeah.
But it definitely was heavy on people of color. Now the reason why it's, I think, translated over into now, like you'll find people who are not of color who are going through some of the similar struggles, because it wasn't just a color thing; it was more of a class thing. You know, it was more of a I have more money than you, a kind of I guess like a showmanship of monopolizing on it. So, after they finish with monopolizing on race, let's get as many people as possible. So then knowledge becomes a thing. People who aren't knowledgeable fall into the same kind of trap. So it didn't only hit race. So it wasn't only a racist thing, but it was focused. It was race focused.
Yeah. And another thing to add on to that is that if you look at communities now, you can still see the effects of what happened during the 80s and you see like, okay, the people who were in those situations are now homeless and there's not really the support for those people because they're kind of just left up and dry. And also another thing is the difference between crack and cocaine. So back then, it wasn't just black and minorities people doing it, was everybody. But the value on cocaine, since it was more expensive, more richer white people were able to get it. But also the law, so like if they were caught with it, you could get more time for having crack than cocaine. So it was also that. So yeah, everybody was doing it, but it also wasn't fair to the way the law was working and the effects and how helping the aftermath of it. Maybe you could go on to your next slide.
By show of hands, who's a writer in the room? We all writers. Sweet. Okay. All right. Just make sure I'm in the right spot. So as writers, there's terminology that gets thrown around when it comes to being an MC. So you have MC as a master of ceremony. Then you have MC as an EMCEE. And then you also have the term rapper. Okay. So these three terms get tossed around sometimes. Pretty much crossed in between. And master of ceremony really gets watered down because being an MCEE is actually being a host. You're sharing information as a host, and so you're an MC, spelled out long ways. Now, being a master of ceremony, you're not just sharing information, you're rather being an artist who shares knowledge. You're sharing knowledge of credible awareness, okay? And you also have this capacity to bring an energy into the room. Anybody familiar with a hype man? So a hype man would be like, let's say you come up with some lyrics and your best friend is like every other line or every punchline, your best friend's like rocking it with you. They probably don't know the whole joint, but they got certain parts, So that is what a hype man does. They pretty much ad-lib you. They back you up on certain lines. Now, with an MC, they're doing that for themselves because they're using their rather their microphone or their voice as an instrument. You're really getting expressive. I heard some of you guys just with your 3-word poem, just being expressive. Bringing some attitude. Saying things how you mean it rather than just saying what you mean, saying it how you mean it. Being expressatory. So that's what a master of ceremony does. Now, master of ceremony also puts their the culture, of what they're doing and the passion of what they're doing first, and then they make revenue off of that. Now, a rapper is the other way around. Now, not to say one's better than the other, but a rapper is focused on monopolizing off of their art and their creativity. So what they do is they say, okay, what are the industry needs, and then they begin to write. Okay, so they're more business minded. They're like, what's gonna sell, and that's where their focus is. So a lot of it, I like to use the term as ringtone rapping. So you got certain rappers that you're like, man, I would use that as a ringtone, but there's no depth, I'm not getting much out of it, but I'll dance to it, or it's catchy, but those are the three differences. Any questions on any of that? Oh, boom. Okay. I'm gonna make sure I covered everything there. Yeah, I believe we're good. We're good.
Thank you, River.
No problem.
Okay. I'm going to talk about breakdancing. Nowadays, when we think about breakdancing, we put it in a category of a type of dance. But I don't think we don't no longer associate it with hip hop, but it really was one of the major parts of hip hop. Breakdancing was there before there was MCing and rapping. And so the way it started is, so the DJs, they were called corner DJs. And people say that the first corner DJ was DJ Kool Herc. And so while they were on the corners, doing their thing, that's when people started breakdancing, with the cardboard mats down and all that, and really like getting down. And there's different types of moves. So there's the power moves, and those are the ones that people mainly know breakdance for. So like the baby freeze, like using all the upper body strength. And then there's also the top rock. So that's where they do like the steps between the power moves and doing the groundwork. And also it was a way of there's a positive release from like just what was going on, like negative. Like there's people who were like did not appreciate each other in any way, but could come together with breakdancing. And it was also a positive way for mediation between gangs. So like, as you saw in the video, how they had like one DJ on this side, the other DJ on the other side, and then they were both breakdancers and all that. They were doing that for like the territory. So breakdancers would use it as a way to like settle disputes instead of, you know, doing negative things. So it really was a positive outlet for people. And breakdancing stemmed from different dances that were going on, so like disco and Lindy Hop, but they also incorporated martial arts and gymnastics, and that's where that power strength comes from. So it was just like a combination of multiple things, which really was hip hop at that time, since it was becoming a new thing. It was a combination of different genres and stuff. So like the DJs that they were breakdancing to, they would have different music from jazz, soul, R&B, funk, all of that. So it really was like kind of like a melting pot for people. And it started in the 70s in South Bronx. That's where most of this stuff originated from, and it was mostly Latino Americans and also African Americans during that time. And it really was for that culture. But nowadays when you think of breakdancing, a lot of people associate that with like Asians, because now we see that instead of like, you know, like you don't really see a lot of like Hispanics doing breakdance. Like it's like the realm of it is really different, and also it's more international. So like I put the Brazil versus Japan team, like they really do, like especially in Japan, it's really, breakdancing is really big there. And so there's like international competitions that go on, and it's not just within small urban cities anymore. So it's just spread, and like it's just, people don't think of it as part of hip hop, and it really was like, it was hip hop at one point in time. Do you guys have any questions on that? Like to add anything?
I have a question. What is like the most like well-known type of breakdance? Like the type of move that
I'm not sure because I'm not a breakdancer, but I know it's mostly like they break down into like different types. So like there's like the top rock and then the power moves. And the way breakdancing is like, it's really personal to people. So like each dancer will have a different type of style. Like so one person will be heavily focused on power moves, and one person might be more focused on like the beat and like grooving with it. So it's really just spread out between the person. And like if you were to see a battle, even if you're on a team, each dancer is different. Nobody dances the same. It's all personal and the way of expressing yourself through.
All right. So who knows what graffiti is? You guys know what graffiti is? Okay. So how would you describe graffiti?
Just expressive art on sides of buildings or on, I don't know, public property, I don't know. Like different ways that people express themselves on there.
Yeah, so I found interesting when I looked up the word graffiti, it said like writing scratched on a wall that's illicit, but that's not necessarily true because not all graffiti is illegal, right? So illegal graffiti usually occurs more on like trains, subways, like public properties, and then legal graffiti is usually sponsored by the city. As you can see here, I have two examples, and these two on the right, those are in Tacoma. Have any of you seen those before in Tacoma? Okay, yeah, those are by local artists in Tacoma. Fab Five actually did the one on the bottom, and they're like a hip hop organization for the community, and youth can learn various skills from breakdancing, graffiti, writing. But yeah, so graffiti started in New York City in the 1960s. Someone named Taki 183 is supposedly like one of the first graffiti artists, and he just started with tagging his name on the wall. And then artists would try to like compete each other like with various styles, whether it would be like colors or just try to do more special effects with the paint. And it started with permanent markers, but then it moved on to spray cans. So yeah, you might have any questions about graffiti specifically? No?
Yeah, during the time where graffiti like started, like we said, 1960s, it was all illegal. Like there was no like city funded. It was all illegal. And if you watch the Get Down, you'll see like the trains that go by, they're filled with graffiti. And it was kind of way as the artist, like even if most of the time they didn't know who the artist was, but they would know their work. So everybody had like a signature like wave that they tag or like a character that they would put, and like people, it was a way for people to communicate with each other that they didn't even know, and it was very illegal. And I think the reason that they're starting to be like more prevent now because like it's urban city, so they, I guess, you know, cities would like to have that urban feel, and there's that way of like, okay, as an artist, because graffiti is still an art, there is like legal ways for you to show your art and get paid for it and use it in a positive way also.
Yeah, graffiti even now is like, some graffiti's even like in art galleries, but some people say that it kind of loses the authenticity that it had before, when it was just like sprayed on walls, and usually people that would be doing that were primarily people of color, and it was like a way for them to have like a sense of pride and express themselves like in a society that's like oppressing them. So yeah, and then they call it, I guess like graffiti that's in galleries, they call it like street art now. So yeah.
Okay. So DJ, when DJing first was a thing, it was good for disc jockey, and so when it first came, it was literally just the person who was like at parties or events who would literally just like change the songs, right? And like just put different songs on while the party was going on. But when we think of like in the video how they were like, you know, scratching and all that, that came later at a time, and that people say the creator of that was Grand Wizard Theodore. And so pretty much what scratching is like when you are switching between songs and then you create like your own original rhythm or add percussions or any of that just by like, you know, using your hands and switching off. And so that's why when you saw him like flip the disc and put it on there, like that was it. It was taking songs that were like not theirs but making it original, making them theirs. And it was also a way of battling and expressing yourself. And we have a link to what scratching is and what that looks like by the person who actually created it. Yeah, I think he's still watching. So yeah, it's not that long ago.
Is it not going to? The copy.
Oh, it's because the picture that's on it, I don't know what happened. But you could copy and paste it.
It's not letting her get into the text box. There you go.
There you go. See how you let it play at first and then you start making the shit to it and scratch it. He's actually, there's two discs that are playing at the same time. So he starts with one and he scratches on, then he switches over. And it's all about like finding that right beat, the right measurement to switch on that. And that's why there's so much pressure when he had flipped the desk on, and to make sure he get on the right point. Because they actually would scratch in like where they wanted to cut off. So that's why it's called scratching also. Because he literally scratched the disc at the part of what they call the get down part or the breakdown. And so that's what it was like. And so nowadays, when we think of DJs, we now kind of call them producers. So those are the people, when we listen to music, those are the people who are actually making the beats, or when we dance, those are the beats that we're listening to. And before, like I said earlier, hip hop literally was DJ and breakdancing at first. MCing came in later, but now there's a shift from DJs to more the MCs, and that's where the focus is on. So like, for example, J. Cole, when he dropped his latest album, he had the Deja Vu, but it had the same like beat to it as a song from Bryson Tiller. And so everybody would say, oh, J. Cole stole Bryson Tiller's thing, but really it was their producers who were taking off of the other producers. We always associate the music with the artist, but it's really the producer, and they don't get as much credit as they did. So a lot of people, when we listen to music, we don't even know who produces songs unless you're really into producing music. They're usually the only ones who know about it. So even though they're such a vital part of hip hop, they don't get a lot of like notice and attention, even though they're the reason we can't listen to anything. You know, they give that beat for artists to write over. You know, and also when we hear people who produce now, it's a whole new sound to it, because they don't have. Some people don't use like, you know, the DJs anymore. They use like, have you seen the boxes where it's like you tap? Those are the ways that music is produced nowadays. And the link is video of like kind of like what that sounds and how people add the instruments.
I haven't seen you outside once. Very mysterious. Have you ever left this house?
No, I'm sick. I can't go.
This is strictly just a beat that somebody created while TV here. He's a really cool producer, and like so, this is just like what we hear. So like that change you hear, so that kind of would be similar to like how the DJ would go and switch from one beat to the other, but then they're adding layers to it, adding music throughout, so it's never the same thing. And when we listen to music, we tend to miss that part, how the changes in the music, but those are also very vital. So like say words you scratching, they're also very mindful where they add the music. When they're adding percussion or adding violin, it's not just one straight beat, it's layers and layers. If you were to watch it on the screen, there's many layers and they're very intentional how they put it. So it's similar, the art is similar, but the way the production is different, and that changes because of technology. And there's also many different music producer, like people like jazz beats, hip hop beats, rock beats, and it's very versatile depending on the producer or the DJ. And also DJs have a vast knowledge of music, so they don't listen to just one genre. So even if they make hip hop beats, they will listen to jazz and funk and maybe rock to incorporate those different things and make it unique. So it's all about taking from other genres and making their own. Oh, and also the last line is a couple of DJs that were well known during the time. So Cool DJ Her, Grandmaster Flash, Africa Bambaataa, and Jazzy J, and there's just a whole bunch of them. Like people, like when I was talking about territory, and if you watch it Get Down, there is literally a section of the Bronx, like each person, each DJ like owned, like they called it a kingdom. So each one had their own territory, and so if you were a DJ, you can't go into that person's territory and do parties and do DJing there. So it was territorial, but also like competition, a way to compete in, but in a positive way. Now we're gonna go into so since we talked about like the different parts of hip hop, we're gonna talk about 3 elements of expression. So how can you take hip hop and use it in different areas in life, and we'll talk about those elements now.
Alright, sweet. We really want to equip you all just with some neat tools as we go along. So definitely feel free to take notes, ask questions. With style, I did do some research. I looked up. I love the way it was best described by Ezekiel in Genetics. So you can look them up on YouTube if you want to go dive a little deeper in this. They did like a podcast on it. So with style, we'll start with literary devices and some things to avoid. So with literary devices, how many of you are familiar with similes? I know it's pretty common. Okay. All right. So we all know like similes, like using like or as. So when it comes to metaphors, we'll be taking the like or as out of that simile. So when we say, I love the way it was described when Ezekiel used, he said, her voice is like the rain. Okay, that's almost using personification, where you're taking like this inanimate object and you're attributing like giving it life attributes. And if you take out that like or as, you just say her voice is the rain. And depending on how you say it, it can come off sad, it can come off sexy, it can really bring this vibe into the room. And it's such a simple thing that can take your poem to the next level, just by adding or subtracting this like or as, or this different comparison. You're taking something really simple and you're marrying it to something that's complex. And that that's what kind of brings your poem to another level, another capacity of giving your audience a little visual. They're able to see your words and bring some color and some life to your words. What about puns? Any pun masters in the room? Awesome. Okay. So I'll share a pun with you. I don't know if you probably heard this one already then. But it's like, did you hear about the guy who got his whole left side cut off? He's all right now. Right? So it's witty, it's quick, it's taking this one word and applying different usages to it. You take the single word and you think about how many different ways it can be used. Also with all of these different literary devices you can use, there's some things to avoid, okay? So when it comes to rhyming, there's different ways to rhyme. You don't have to have, every sentence rhyme at the end or, rhyme in the beginning, but you can even have like a bridge to where like your first line rhymes with your very last line, and you may have like 4 to 6 lines in between there, but the way you express it and you give it kind of that dramatic expression, it makes it all come together. Okay, so just be creative with the placement of your rhyming words. And try not to be redundant. If you're speaking, because usually we'll talk about things that other people have already talked about. There's only so many topics there. So what we do as lyricists is really bring our own personhood to the table, and be creative in how you explain things. You may use synonyms or you may use senses. Talk about how love smells rather than just using the word love. Rather than talk about how it smells or it sounds, or bring some things into play that people wouldn't normally do. As far as how you relate to it, and then be accurate. So if you're stating facts, then research your sources. And don't just take one source. Go ahead and check that source, and always be arriving. So when it comes to getting critiqued or studying, considering other folks' perspective, be willing to grow, be willing to take other people's perspective, because sometimes almost like when we write things, somebody else goes and reads it, they'll read something different and we didn't see it. We missed a word. We just, every time we read it in our minds, it's already there because that's what we intended to write. So there's that, and then when I said like say what you mean and how you mean it, there's really a complex version when it comes to expression. I'm sorry, any question? No, okay, that's about somebody's system. I'm sorry. So then also when it comes to relatability, submerge yourself into whatever it is you're presenting, and especially if you're talking about a weighted topic, and it's something that you haven't gone through before. Maybe you're doing the weighted topic for a specific event or whatever. You got to be respectful to the fact that some people, it's their actual experience. So go to the library, ask around, interview people, embrace the reality of what it is you're talking about. And watch documentaries. Go above and beyond. What it takes just to write. One page, and see how other cultures are impacted by it. Just really delve into it, submerge yourself into the reality of your poem, and become your poem. Feel what you're talking about, and convince yourself. That's part of being a master of ceremonies. Like you're able to. Earlier we talked about like a rapper is a salesman of a product. Well, a master of ceremony is a salesman of a purpose. Sell your message. And then when we talk about checking your objective, like we said before, just saying what you mean, but be effective by keeping your message clear. Sometimes we'll get so caught up with the skill and the talent and all the different literary devices we could use that our message gets buried in that. You really want to leave your message as clear as possible. So that means you have to sacrifice a rhyming word, you have to sacrifice some of your skills, then do that. And don't be like a weak poet where like you're just going straight for the punchline and that's it. But really be mindful that when you're reading through your stuff or you're going back over it, that it's eye-catching what you mean by what you're saying and what the message is. Because someone else in the room can be inspired by you really quick. Even if it's only one person, that could be a ripple effect. That could be a transition, and you'll never know the impact of your of your work. And if your goal is to just go viral, and that's your whole point of your poem. Anybody have like a poem that's like I just really want to go mad viral? Like I want this to be it. If anybody has that, just go ahead and take whatever that is and scratch it. Just scratch it, because nobody's gonna be able to relate to that. That's very distant. It's not authentic. It's not connected to you as a person. And people don't come just to see the art, but they come to hear you through your art. And so this relationship you have to have with your piece. And when we talk about studying and committing, we've kind of already been there. So with that, is there any like specific questions about like checking your objective? No.
Do you guys know what she means by checking your objective? How would you explain it?
Like, I'm bad at explaining things.
It's all good. What comes to mind? Like,
What's the hand up? You had a hand up?
What is your reason?
yeah, what is your why? You're right. What is really like, what's convincing you to write this piece? What's pushing you? What's motivating you? And with that, I'm just saying, like, make sure that, your art form is complementing your message. Use them together, not one over the other. It's really this kind of synergy that happens, that creates this balance as an artist. So we'll move on to strengths and weaknesses, which we kind of touched on a little bit as well. So being able to grab the attention of your audience with your opening line, I'd say would be the one thing that we haven't mentioned yet. You don't want to be that artist who's like, everyone's like, okay, this is my bathroom break. You want to get started. You don't want to wait and slowly get it. This is your time. Seize the moment now. Be aggressive when it comes to just letting it all out and being vulnerable. That comes with the territory of being a lyricist. Like it's sometimes nerve-wracking, but it's also a beautiful thing when you're able to just lay it all out there. And so. Embrace your piece and become it, is all I would say with that. And when it comes to lyrical art being a supplement, just be aware that when we talk about supplements, anybody take supplements or vitamins? Anybody familiar with the process of taking vitamins and supplements? Sweet, okay, we got a couple, about half of us. So when it comes to taking vitamins and supplements, you usually take it with a meal, right, or water, or it's an additive. It's not just you don't just take it by itself. It can't get the job done if it doesn't work with other things going on with your body. Same thing with our lyrics here. You can't get the job done with just the lyrics themselves. You have to pretty much have experience. You have to be coming from somewhere. There has to be a connection between you owning your own lane, right, by being authentic. And when you can master that, you can master being untouchable when you master your own lane. All right? That's it for that one.
Okay. Now we're going to go into story. So the story of your art, poetry, or anything is the message that you are trying to express. And when we think of like a message or a story, we tend to think of like writing or the poetry. But your story can also be expressed through like the graffiti or the music that you produce or your dance moves. An expression also comes from like the facial features you have when you're speaking or the tone changes that you have during your poem or when you're dancing, especially like with crump. If you heard of crump, like the type of moves that you do tell a story, like a literal story, and that's where crump really brings out is the story you're telling, because you're really communicating to the person you're battling, and the face expression you have is very important, because you could be doing a hard move but be smiling, and that changes the message of what you're trying to say. But if you're like have strong moves but you look angry, like it's a whole different message with that. And another thing to be conscious of is when you're sharing a story and expressing it, sometimes it could be out for interpretation. So if you're sharing your story and you want a certain message, people who are listening might get a different message than what you are giving, either because of the way you're saying it, the flow of it. Those things impact that. And also people tend to attach their own personal meanings to something, so you have to be willing to be like, okay, this is what I'm having to say. Say you're talking about mental illness, and then somebody can attach like, oh, I've been through that. So that goes into what River had said about having a message that's relatable, or with any topic, making it open for people to be able to relate to it, because no matter what you're trying to say, they're still going to attach it to it, and that can add to the strength. And so that also goes into knowing your audience. So if you're doing a piece, for yourself, you know what you want to hear. But if you're going to do a piece that for performing, you have to be like, okay, what type of people are going to be in that room? Why are we even coming together? What is the reason that this poem for, and what is the topic? And so that changes the message, also the audience you're giving to and the context of it. And also with hip hop, your story and the way you share it is very open. So like I said, a lot of things in hip hop come from other genres and other sources, and even like with breakdancing with different like sports and stuff. So because of that like range of things, there is no limit to what your message is or the way you share it, because it is pretty much open game. And as long as it's raw and soulful and it means something to you and you can express it in that way, it's open for however you want to. So you're not limited. Hip hop is not a limited genre. You can do whatever. You can play off of different genres of poetry, of different genres of dance in any way. Yeah, pretty much in any way. And also, as an artist, your story, you're never going to have the same story, even if that's between poems. But as you grow as a person, the way you share your story and the way you talk about situations is going to change. So that's why we tend to like artists, because of the stories they have and the lyrics that they say. Because either we can relate, but if they drop a new album, it's like, oh, I can't relate with them at all. It's because they've grown as a person, and we've grown in a different way. So that's why it's not limited even to the people you like, people you listen to, other people you watch dance. It's forever changing. It's never a set thing.
Okay, so community. So how would you define community? Does anybody have any ideas? Katie?
A group of people.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely one way to put it. So community is definitely tied into hip hop, because hip hop in itself is a community. Oftentimes, like graffiti artists, they weren't just graffiti artists. They could also be break dancers, DJs. So it's like all interconnected. And so community can be defined many ways, like as you said, like a group of people. It could be culture, family, traditions. Honoring your ancestors. And does anyone know what a cipher is? How would you describe a cipher?
It's a couple people coming together to like write a piece. Like I watched the Funk Volume Cipher from back in the day when it was like the longer room.
Okay, yeah, definitely. So yeah, so cipher just means zero or circle. And it was basically like a way to bring people together and rap. Like they'll go be in a circle and all express themselves through rapping. And art is definitely connected to community. Does anybody know any artists that come to mind that connect their artwork to community or like social justice issues, that type of thing? So I listed J. Cole as an example. He talks about like racism in some of his songs, to just be free. There's also Kendrick Lamar, Lauryn Hill. I'm sure have you guys heard of some of those artists? Ice Cube? Ice Cube? Yeah, definitely. So I just want to play this quick video snippet of an artist named Aisha Fukushima. She calls herself a raptivist, so she incorporates art, rapping with activism. In 2005.
Waiting in the water under God's sight. Where is FEMA? They've forgotten our humanity, suffering and leave us. Water keeps us alive till we can't breathe. We can't breathe. We can't. We can't breathe. We can't. We can't breathe. Can't.
That was Eric Garner.
I said stand up, good water is keeping up. I said stand up, it's time to fight. I said stand up, with the air and with the flow. Preacher man, somebody has got to go. Somebody has got to go. Bottles of water.
That's Flint, Michigan. Flint water crisis.
They'll take me away for sure. Seems I'm high and dry, stuck in the A1.
Okay, so it does get to a point where she says, "Yours in this country, and I cannot call it home." I wanted to play it to that point, but we're kind of short on time. And that lyric really spoke out to me, because it's like, we live here, but especially for Black people, it's like we can't call it home though, because we're not getting justice, we're not getting essential qualities of life, which are freedom, justice, equality. So anybody have any quick comments about that whole video? Okay, so we're gonna move on and we're gonna do our lyric discussion. So Miriam and River are gonna be leading this, and the song is Sunday Candy by Chance the Rapper. So I'll pass out lyric sheets for that, and yeah, you guys can start.
So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna play this song, and you guys will be reading the lyrics while you look at it. And so what we want to do is kind of talk about what is he saying in those lyrics, what is the message he says, what parts of, and also there's gonna be the video, and so you can also watch like the elements of hip hop that's in the video also, and just what message you're getting from it, or what can you relate to. So just think about those questions as you read it, and just you can make notes on the paper of like what sticks out to you, or just interpretations that you have. And I can get you
My immune system sucks. If I went outside, I'd die. We should probably agree to just be friends.
My life is better with you in it.
She can say in her voice, in her way, that she loves me. With her eyes, with her smile, with her belt, with her hands, with her money. I am the pieces of her prayers. Her nieces and her nephews are just pieces of the layers. Only one she loves as much as me is Jesus Christ and Taylor. I got a feature song singing for my grandma. You sing it too, but your grandma ain't my grandma. Mine's handmade, pan fried, sun dried, south side, and beat the devil by a landslide. Ran with her hands tied, president of my fan club, Santa. Something told me I should bring my money.
Slowly, take it in my body like it's holy. I've been waiting for you for the whole week. I've been praying for you my Sunday.
You gotta move
slowly, take it in my body like it's holy. I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been waiting for you my Sunday. Come on in this house. It's gonna rain, rain down time. It's gonna rain. Come on in this house. It's gonna rain, rain down time. It's gonna rain.
Just for the candy, your peppermints is the truth. I'm pessimistic on Monday. If I had tweaked and missed you, you look so good with the hat on, had to match with the shoe. Came in dressed in the satin, I came and sat in your pew. I come to Christmas for dinner, 50 rolls on my plate. Hella holes in my stocking, holding your pockets in place. I like my love with the budget, I like my hugs with a cent. You smell like light gas, why the electricity rent? You sound like why the gospel choir got so tired. Singing this crazy daily basis, so I gotta try it. You my dream catcher, dream team captain. Matter of fact, I ain't seen you in a minute. Let me take my butt to church.
You better come on in.
Come on in this house.
It's gonna rain.
It's gonna rain.
Down time.
Rain down.
It's gonna rain. Come on in this house. It's gonna rain.
It's gonna rain.
Down time.
Rain down.
It's gonna rain. Gotta move it slowly, take it in my body like it's holy. I've been waiting for you for the whole week.
So we're just gonna do a small discussion. We have about 13 minutes, so we'll probably spend 5 minutes on this. What were some things that caught your eye in the video or in the lyrics?
I don't know, like, so he talks about, what did he say it? He talks about like his grandma or something, and how like he's relating his childhood memories of his grandmother taking care of him into the girl that he's like, that he likes, and like he's relating it to like, he's like, well, you, because I feel like it transitions from him like, I'm singing for my grandma, and like he talks about her, and then he talks about the girl, and so it is very similar. I feel that way, I feel, but I could be wrong. But
No, yeah. Hey, sure. Anybody else?
There was a couple lines that I kind of circled. It was, I like my love with the budget. I like my hugs with a scent. You smell like lights, gas, water, electricity, right? You sound like why the gospel choirs got so tired. And that really confused me.
I think that goes into like what like the metaphors and the similes. So like he's talking about like his grandma and saying like those are like kind of like the memories that he has of her. So like when he says she smells like those things, like those are the things that come to her mind, like those are things that provide comfort, you know, and like the scent of her and just like her place in his life, and that's kind of like what he related to. And also the part about church, like she, from the like watching it, like she was obviously heavily involved in the church, and so like that's like a strong thing that he connects with her, so he uses those similes to talk back to her.
I noticed in the video they were all wearing the socks that got the SOS, and pretty sure that song was from his Social Experiment album or mixtape, and you know it was him. And I think it was Donnie Trumpet as well. They got together with a bunch of local like Chicago artists, and that was their like, in like the slide beforehand we had talked about like the community, and that was their social experiment with bringing the community together in a way.
Like that connection, yeah. Anyone else? Do you have any thoughts, remember?
When you talk about like the metaphor piece, when he said like she smelled like why the gospel choir got so tired, like that piece, I was stuck on that because it's like when you smell somebody who's tired, you smell like sweat, you know, but you also smell the gospel choir, like it smells like church, you know, like you get that grandma church woman perfume or something like that, you know, it brings like this color to what he's saying, you know, they put you in the scene. But I've been writing a little freestyle. But a young man in the corner, gentleman in the corner, what's your name?
Me?
Yes, you.
Yeah, I'm Logan.
Logan, okay, I missed that earlier. Alright. Logan is your name, I like what you've been saying. I was chilling in my room, listening to some tunes. Next thing I know, it's louder than a bomb boom. Jasmine got the sniffles, I must be contagious. I spent all morning like hot shoe, have been interconnected, not in the head, like ooh. Alright, so that's a freestyle, alright? So, you know, just being in the moment, okay? So if y'all can take this time to just freestyle, whatever comes to your mind. It doesn't have to rhyme, that's just what's natural for me, okay? So rhyming is natural for me. Now if y'all could just take this time to go ahead and just write whatever's on your heart.
And don't think too much about it. Just let it flow. If it doesn't make sense, keep writing. Like don't let your pen come off the paper. Just keep going. And then maybe even the things don't connect. Like maybe you think about, oh, you know, I ate some hot Cheetos, and then you think about, oh, I want to go swimming. Like those things have nothing to do with each other, but it's okay. Like just let it flow.
Can we have a beat?
Yeah, we're gonna play a couple beats.
She's gonna play a beat. And then we're gonna have some time to share out if you would like to share it. Okay.
To my bit, excuses imperfection, but the man with the lady grabbed the other by the neck, demanded an apology and also respect. The young man aggravated, grabbed the back and smacked him. The girl just laughed and laughed and laughed at him. He felt ashamed for what he had done and looked like a fool to everyone. Oh, these are 3 stories from the naked city.
friend. I can give you the life you deserve. Just say the word, baby, and I gotcha. Hey, darling, I gotcha. Whoa, girl, that I'm all yours worth. Tell them you're my girl. Anything you want is yours. Yeah. Chapters turning, so old-fashioned and natural. Oceans got me falling for you. Oh yeah, baby, I told you that you wrecked my world. Want you around me, yeah. Let me call you my girl, your girlfriend, my girlfriend. Give you the life you deserve. Just say the word, gotcha. Oh, girl.
Alright, time. Anybody immediately want to share out?
Like right the last
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Finish your last line. But you gotta share it.
Anyone that's done already, do you want to share? Anybody want to
Anybody?
share out?
Ooh, yes.
Sarah?
I'm so confused why am I here? I fell asleep just on my fear. Speaking my heart, making for me, knowing all that this is a test that I can't cheat. My mama always told me to be confident, but how can I be when I'm so nervous you can't smell the stench? I'm proud to laugh, but I'm shy and quiet. I speak my heart, crave the beat. You see now, just wait to see. The game's gonna be so neat, it's gonna shake the ground at your feet. I forgot why I'm here, so I'm gonna make a reason to forget my fear. that I speak my heart anytime.
Yes. Thank you. Nice. I like that. Anyone else?
Kind of doesn't make sense, but if I'm here and there, how can I make sense? I gotta stay on topic and make sure my rhymes get sent. How do people talk on this when they haven't experienced that? How can you know how I feel if you've never been called fat? It's my truth, my ability to express its means, but how will you feel if that's only how I make it seem? Don't patronize me on the size of my jeans.
You have to get up, Katie.
Drugs are like hugs. They're cold. They put the warning labels in bold. Drugs are like annoying bugs. You can't get rid of me. Just let him. Please protect me, he, and she from the sugar packets that cause riots.
Thank you, Katie.
Go ahead, take another chill pill so you can go chill, Bill. When all you need is that real world feel, the wind on your skin, sun bouncing off your brow, so you can go live life instead of letting life live you. But who am I to say? Just another wandering soul trying to find his place in the world. Trying to find his place in the world, never knowing where I'm going or how I'm gonna get there, just going with the flow.
Thank you. Anyone else of your name? Are you sure?
Aries.
Aries.
Let's see. I didn't know you could write this right now. I was like super tired, but I think it could be used as a poem, but it's kind of a song too. So I just kind of wrote a song like just sitting there. So I mean, without saying it publicly.
Hey, say it how you want.
Say it loud.
Your art.
Ribbon wasn't here, so say it loud.
Yes, give it to me.
The song is essentially it means how it feels kind of to be an artist, no matter what and what it really means. So this is very liberating for me as basically being a songwriter in a song too.
Before you start, I know you jumped in a little bit in the middle. Could you introduce yourself to the group?
He did.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
I missed it.
It's Eris.
I'm sorry. Eris, Kathy, good to see you again. Welcome.
See you too. Thank you. But it goes like this. Until the world crashes and burns, I'm gonna continue to recite these words. Until the world crashes and burns, I'm gonna continue to recite these words. Longevity, nothing compares to perfection at its best. Longevity, the sun is the moon and the moon is the sun. Until the world crashes and burns, I'm gonna continue to recite these words. Until the world crashes and burns, I'm gonna continue to recite these words. Don't condemn me, my mind is totally free. Don't pollute me with your waters. I am as free, I am as, where's it going? Does it go? Okay, don't pollute me with your waters. I'm as pure as I can be. Don't condemn me, my mind is totally free. Don't pollute me with your waters, my mind. I am as pure as I can be. Until the world crashes and burns, I'm going to continue to recite these words. Until the world crashes and burns, I'm going to continue to recite these words. There's nothing you can do to me that you haven't already done. I have nothing to lose, cause to you I'm just another nigga in the street. There's nothing you can do to me that you haven't already done. I have nothing to lose, cause to you I'm just another nigga in the street. Until the world crashes and burns, I'm going to continue to recite these words. Until the world crashes and burns, I'm going to continue to recite these words.
Thank you. Yeah, to who haven't shared, you don't have to, but it'd be great.
I'll go. Mine is really short because you kept changing the beat and I was really confused
I'm
with which one we
sorry.
were going with. No, it's okay.
Did you want to do it with the beat?
Oh no, it's okay. So I'm sitting here with everyone in the room, about to go on stage, don't know what to do. Busting a rhyme all the time. I want to thank everyone about the breakdown of hip hop time. Style, dance, and DJ too. Hey, excuse me ma'am, what do you like to do?
I like that.
That's
I like that.
Nice, that was nice. Jasmine? Come on, Jasmine. You're in slam poetry.
Yeah, but I was trying to say straight.
Can you read 2 words? One line.
The beat that you got is crazy, but I like it. You could be on The Voice as a rapper. The judges will love you and want to. You got this. Oh my gosh. The judges will love you and want you to have a career out of it. Keep it up. You keep on your dream. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for
That's the one thing.
New message is received from Mom.
It's only human, I'm gonna say this and get nervous. I get nervous like when I was reading just now, like it's the fact that I'm not used to I get really, it's hard for me to read off of paper. It's hard for me to read off of paper, I get nervous in front of people. So I mean, it's natural. You know, I do the same thing on stage too, so I get nervous. So,
And I also have a stutter.
All right,
I had it
thank you.
very bad.
You said you have a stutter?
Yeah.
I have a stutter too, and it comes out when I start reading things or when I'm on stage a lot. So there's just a funny thing. So I was on stage and we were it was the final dress rehearsal of a show. So then I go up there and we have some people that are in the audience watching because they can't make it to the actual performance. I go up there and I recite my line. It was something weird, and I go, and 30 seconds straight just of me going like that. And it was the funniest thing. Honestly, and you just play it off and people think it's a part of the thing. And then my scene partner just went, it's okay. And she started doing it with me. And so it was that comedic effect. And then have that, use it. Honestly, if it's, don't let it be an issue, you know?
All right. It is time for lunch, but we really appreciate you guys coming to our workshop. It was really great for us. I hope it was great for you guys. And yeah, any last words?
Yes, thank you guys so much.
River wanted to say something.
I just want to say this. So you guys kind of already touched on it a little bit, but really trust your poems to lead you. Don't feel like you have to lead your poem. When you get on that stage, it's like Beyonce has Sasha Fierce. If anybody's ever heard that, her alter ego. You know, you let your poem do the talking. You let your poem do the speaking, and be vulnerable. Allow yourself to be emotional, because some of you really have the content already there. But it's no you gotta don't be afraid to just say it how you mean it. Convince me that that I'm willing to feel the way you're feeling. I understand how you're feeling when you're saying what you're saying. You know, when you have a point, make it clear by expression, not just by the words. You know, allow yourself to just really just dove into it. Just if you're feeling nervous, allow your words to comfort and be the blanket around you. Let your poem be your comfort, because they're all powerful and you all have a really creative sense and you're so bold. And I just want to thank you all for sharing and just for allowing yourselves to just put yourself out there for real. So thank you.
Anybody have any final thoughts for River?
Thank you.
And kudos to you guys. You guys are in middle school, so I wasn't doing any poetry, slam poetry, none of that in middle school. So just being in the slam poetry club, that's a big step in itself.
Follow us on YouTube. Contact us. We're on Facebook too. Just to stay involved with us.
Good luck on your slam. You're gonna do great.
Are you guys gonna come?
Trust your poems.
I can't.